are back for another Talk About It Tuesday. And as usual, we have a phenomenal question, but I have to admit this question was really, really difficult for me. It got me super emotional. It just dredged up all these emotions. So let me get to the question and then I'll tell you why it was such a difficult question for me. So here's the question. With tax season underway, how could someone use an extra $1,000 or two to improve their finances aside from saving it? Anybody that tells you that there is a universal best single use for 1,000 or 2,000 extra, and I don't understand what extra is, extra dollars is a fraud. Either they don't know what they're talking about or they're trying to take advantage of you. So let me explain this. I can tell you, oh, invest in this or, do that. But if I tell you anything to do with that money, that's not part of a greater strategy, not part of a greater strategy that leads to a specific desired outcome that's specific to your particular needs, then what I tell you to do would be useless. Without a strategy, without a greater strategy, you might as well take that $1,000 and go on vacation or have a spa day with your friends or whatever, because it will be a wasted effort because it will lead to nothing. And it's crazy because think about it. If you, let's say, I say invest in the lending club and you can average a 12% return on investment. And you say, yeah, I'm going to take my $1,000 and get a 12% return on investment. But I didn't ask you if you were carrying credit card debt. And you happen to be carrying credit card debt at 16%. At the end of the year, you still have a net loss. So there is no single universal way. If I tell you, and you don't have credit card debt, and I say to you, invest that money in a mutual fund. You can get an index fund and it will average maybe 7%. And I don't tell you, and I don't ask you, well, do you have an emergency fund? Now think about it. Last week, most of the country was in a deep freeze. I don't know where you were, but it was cold where I was. And twice during the same week, my hot water pipes leading right from the hot water tank froze and broke, leaving me without hot water. Had to call a plumber twice. At another building I have, the boiler was overused because it was so cold that it just shut off. I had to get a plumber. If I didn't have money set aside, so if you don't have an emergency fund, would you go without hot water and heat? So then there is no single best use. It depends on your circumstances. It depends on what your desired outcome is. It depends on is it something that's part of a greater plan, strategic plan? So why is it so painful for me? Because what I've realized is that for your entire life, people have told you what to think, and no one has told you how to think. Now, just mull that over for a second. When you were in school, your teacher said, memorize this set of facts, without giving you real context as to why it was important to memorize the facts. But you knew that the reward for memorizing the facts was you passed your test, you passed your class, and you graduated. So you memorized these facts that didn't matter in order to gain the reward. Fast forward, you graduated, you got a job, and your boss says, do these set of tasks. Not telling you what the greater strategy is or what their greater outcome is, but do these set of tasks because the outcome is you'll keep your job, which means you'll get paid, and that's your reward. And so suddenly you're trying to be thrust into this other world of financial freedom, and you're looking for a single solution or a single outcome, or just tell me what to do. And I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you how to think. Because what people don't understand is financial freedom is not an end. It is a process. It is a forever process. Because what you do to gain financial freedom will be totally different from what is required to attain, to continue to have financial freedom. So to gain it is one thing, to sustain it is a whole different ballgame. I'll give you an example of that. There is no single investment that remains viable forever the way it was when it was first profitable. So let me explain and give you a concrete example. I bought a property in 2005 that I still own. And when I first bought the property, the economy was, what it was, and the neighborhood wasn't so great. And so the best use for the property at the time, because it was legally 6 rooms and 2 apartments, the best use of that was as a rooming house. It was an SRO. And so I used it for that, maximized the benefit. The economy changed, the neighborhood changed. And so I converted it to apartments. That was profitable for a while. The economy changed, the neighborhood changed. And so the best use of it was to turn it into a hostel. So I used it as a hostel. Then the economy changed, the neighborhood changed, and I essentially turned it into a homeless shelter. Then the economy changed, the neighborhood changed. I turned it back into apartments. The economy changed, the neighborhood changed, and now I'm making luxury apartments out of it. And so you have to understand that there's every investment, every business has a lifespan, and that every business, every investment requires innovation and change based on factors in terms of the economy, what cycle you're in terms of people's desires, in terms of changes in technology. There's so many trends. All these things are going to affect everything you do. So to think you're going to do something once in isolation doesn't make sense. It has to be part of a greater strategy, but that strategy has to evolve. As your wants change, as the world changes, it has to evolve constantly. And so you have to learn how to adapt. You have to learn how to think. You have to learn how to see opportunities. You have to understand cycles. You have to understand people. You have to understand technology. You have to understand how things grow and how things change. It's a different world. Nobody can tell you to do this and you'll be financially free, or that you'll remain financially free. So I'm trying to share this process, and it's frustrating for me because it's difficult to articulate to people who haven't experienced that. If your whole life experience has been just tell me the thing to do to get me there, tell me that one thing to do, it's hard for me to articulate and make you understand that there is no single thing and that it's very specific. There's, again, this a general definition of financial freedom, meaning your passive income meets your expenses, but the rest of it is very subjective. What your expenses are is going to be very personal. What your desired lifestyle is going to be is very personal. What tools, investments, business opportunities that you take advantage of is going to be very personal, and to a great extent, not your choice. There's little choice, but a lot of it is dictated by bigger things. People's wants, the economy, all kind of cycles, different type of things like that. And so I'm trying to teach you how to see opportunities and how to take advantage of opportunities and how to constantly stay with the rhythm and the changes of trends and all these different things. So I hope that didn't sound like I was babbling, but like I said, it's really something personal to me, because I see people getting taken advantage of by all these so-called wealth gurus on the internet who say, just spend your money with me and learn how to flip houses, or learn how to invest in the stock market, or they're selling you a product, not a process. I'm trying to teach you a process. A product you can get is fleeting. You'll get some money today, or you might not even get anything, because I talked to you plenty of times about flipping houses only works in certain economies, but they tell you flipping houses as if it's good everywhere all the time. That's a load of crap. So it's important, again, to understand the process. So how do you use $1,000? That's going to be very personal. Depends on your situation, depends on your greater vision. But any use of your money should be part of a bigger strategy. Any investment that you get into should be part of a bigger strategy. Any business that you get into should be part of a bigger strategy. And if it's not, then it's wasted. It's just like the people who win the lottery. You can win the lottery, and that will change your financial situation and your life temporarily. But if you don't understand how to sustain financial freedom, then you'll have a job in a short amount of time. So, sorry I couldn't tell you this one universal thing to do to use the money, but hopefully it changes your perspective and changes your thought process. Again, you have to change the way you think, and you have to understand that financial freedom is a forever process of transforming and changing and balancing different things. So I'm going to end it there. Keep sending in the questions. I'm going to keep banging it home, banging it home, banging it home that you have to change the way you think, because pretty much everything you've ever learned about making money is only going to steer you to where you are now. It cannot get you to financial freedom. And I'm going to keep sharing and again, keep banging it home, but please keep asking the questions. So I'll see you next Tuesday for I'll Talk About It Tuesday.